So why are silver and gold safe places to park your money? How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Empire Precious Metals. Stormy here. If you're new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a guy in a bucket talking about precious metals. So make sure you blast that subscribe button, get the bell notification clicked. That way you get updated with any new content. Today I want to talk about something that I love talking about, and that happens to be silver and gold, and why these are safe haven assets for you to own. These are assets that you can purchase virtually anywhere. It could be a jewelry shop, coin shop, online retailers. There's so many different places in which you can purchase silver and gold, depending on where you are in the world too. Some banks, I know Canada, sells gold directly from the bank over the counter. There are a lot of reasons as to why these are safe haven investments, and people for thousands of years have seen value in silver and gold. Time shows us that silver and gold, while it does have its fluctuations in price over time, the prices of silver and gold continue to go upward. This isn't news. And yes, again, depending on different points in time, different things that are happening in the world geopolitically, silver and gold can certainly take a dip. However, again, the overall trend is that silver and gold continue to increase. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the value of silver and gold are increasing. It's actually that the value of the dollar is decreasing. Estimates show that approximately every year, United States, if you had $100, you're going to be losing about $2 in value. But now what we are seeing with inflation being at these 40-year highs, we're just about at 8% for inflation rates. You're seeing that your dollars are actually going a lot less further than they used to before. You can buy a lot less. The buying power of your dollars are getting weaker and weaker. So because of that, you're seeing prices of silver and gold getting higher and higher. So this is something that I continually do is if I have extra money, whether it be in the middle of the month or the end of the month, instead of just letting it sit in cash form, I just go to the coin shop, purchase silver and gold, but mainly gold, and I put my money there. You'll see that banks, they hardly pay you anything to even have a savings account anymore. So why even bother putting your money in a bank savings account if it's going to yield you no returns? You can certainly be purchasing stocks. You could be purchasing, cryptocurrencies, NFTs. I mean, there are far other investment vehicles that would bring you a lot more money faster, but they're a lot riskier. Today, though, I am going to be talking to an expert who knows the value of safe haven assets like silver and gold and other precious metals. And we're going to get into that discussion just in a few moments. And after that, I would like to come back here to kind of just wrap everything up. All right, everybody, I am so excited to have with me again Andy Lee, CEO and Director of York Harbor Metals. Andy, it is good to see you again. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. I can't believe it's been a year. You said it's been a year since we've last spoken. I feel like it's maybe like 4 months ago or something. It's been a crazy, crazy time for sure.
Absolutely. We've had a very exciting year, so there's lots to update on for sure.
So I would love to just like jump right into it and just kind of start talking about everything that's it's going on in in the world as well as everything that's happening with your company. Right now there's a lot of discussion about inflation. I mean, that seems to be at the forefront of a lot of people's minds. And is there any end in sight? I wanted to ask you, somebody who's, in my opinion, more of an expert than me for sure. Have you ever really seen the Federal Reserve or the government more paranoid over, inflation than it is right now in your lifetime?
I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I think the average person can take a trip out to either a restaurant or the grocery store and they'll see it right away.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think with the, I don't know if we want to bring in the war as well that's happening in Ukraine.
Sure.
It's also affected the gas pumps,
Oh, yeah.
so everyone is getting hit with, we're just stepping out of the pandemic, immense amount of spending.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got the war to contend with, so oil prices have been driven up. So these are inflationary things that like I've never seen anything happen like so, bang bang.
Yeah.
And it's a crazy time. So yeah,
So let
we're
me
all feeling it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, every time my wife goes out to, do a little bit of shopping or something like that, she says, I'm just going to like CVS to get something. It's like $100. Like every time you go anywhere, you're spending spending so much money. It's really crazy. Let me ask you, because you're talking about the, coming out of the pandemic, and we're talking about, the geopolitical landscape as it relates to like Ukraine and Russia. What do you think? The government's gotten wrong with regard to the handling of this, global shockwave of like the shutdown, all the layoffs. Do you think, their actions are going to tame down inflation? You think that's kind of ramping everything up?
Well, I mean, how many tools do they really have? I
Yeah.
mean, the next thing up is really jacking up interest rates, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they can really do that, because then you're going to stall the economy, which is going to create another problem. So I think what the average person should do, or what most people do, I mean, I'm not here to give advice, but this is just kind of what I'm doing, is I'm picking my areas where I can preserve my wealth,
Mm-hmm.
where I could store some value. And then, I take advantage of certain market conditions like we are right now. Um, I don't know how, well versed your audience is to sort of the penny markets as well as the early exploration companies here on the Canadian exchanges.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a great place for, I guess, lots of growth opportunities, taking advantage of some of these commodity prices that are rising. So, I mean, it's everyone's going to have to do their own, figure out what their
Sure.
strategy is. But it's something that, I think that people should take advantage of these types of situations because they don't come along often. In
Right.
fact, this is the first time I'm seeing it. Like I said, we're going to be in for a tidal wave of inflationary pressures, which is going to continue to drive commodity prices.
Yeah, and a lot of people, it goes without saying, especially in this precious metal stacking niche on YouTube, a lot of people, they buy the gold, they buy the silver because they, believe that it really helps store their wealth. That's one of the main reasons that I buy these physical assets. Speaking of metals, what has changed in terms of, demand for copper, for example, or other metals, because of the green revolution? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you have to go very far. You look outside and just look at the road, and you see how many Teslas are driving around.
Yeah.
But soon, all those other cars, the 90 something other percent of cars out there, they're going to get electrified. And the big driver for these electric cars is the requirement for metals like copper. I think lithium has taken a little bit of the spotlight in the sense that
Mm-hmm.
lithium prices have, I think, jumped like 500%.
Yeah.
Copper isn't doing too bad. I mean, I think since beginning of the year, we're up on 20 some percent, but it's the longer term outlook. It's because of the supply demand issue. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, the demand is exceeding the availability of supply. And we're going to see more shortages as sort of this adoption of electric cars. But there's other uses of copper, construction.
Yeah.
And as the economies grow, lots of rebuild. And I keep hearing that there's a infrastructure bill that's gotten passed, and there's going to be lots of projects coming up. That's all going to be you're going to have the need for additional copper.
So, speaking of the demand for copper and how this could be a tremendous opportunity, you're the founder and CEO of York Harbor Metals, and the ticker symbol is YORKF, York F on the U.S. exchanges. Your share price it's doubled in 2022 alone so far. What the heck is causing this explosion?
Well, I think we drilled and we hit. It's our results that's really pushing the share price up and the value. I think when we first got started, our drill program started in, I guess, August. We had some early results, but it is definitely, sorry about that.
That's okay.
So it is definitely the results from our last phase 2 drilling that is really propelling the share price upwards. So, the early investors are benefiting. I think we hit a high of like in the Canadian exchange, it was about $1.37. I think in the U.S. exchange, I think it was about a dollar, a little over a dollar there. So
Wow.
yeah, and I think we'll continue to have great results. We had our third phase of drilling that is just wrapping up, and I think we have a lot more results coming, at least for another 30 holes or so.
That is awesome. Yeah, I think that's Eric Sprott calling you, and I
Yeah.
wanted to I wanted to ask you, why is he a shareholder of York Harbor, as far as he has told you?
Well, I mean, Eric Sprott is probably one of the most famous
Oh yeah.
investors in the mining sector. He's invested in a lot of companies in Newfoundland, and we're just one of the benefactors. We're definitely a our project is in Newfoundland, and it's early stage, and I think there's lots of potential here for significant returns. So he started with us back in I think April last year, and he participated again in the last financing that we completed in December. So it's great to have that sort of endorsement, and he's one of our largest shareholders in the company.
So let me ask you, what's the exit strategy for your company, and what is the timeline that you're looking at here?
I mean, we're going to be very aggressive in our exploration, and our timeline is, we've always kind of said, hey, we'll take it 12 months at a time, and we'll see where the company is at the end of this year. Um, we haven't even had a truly a full year of exploration under our belts yet. But we're getting there. We're getting answers to, a lot of questions surrounding grade. I think we're answering that. The other question around resource, we're building up our resource, obviously, as we drill. But it's really to expand the potential. And there's 4 or 5 other targets on the site. We've been focused on the main zone, but we have 4 or 5 other zones on this property.
Hmm.
And to get there, we're probably looking at a 24-month, 36-month window,
Okay.
and we'll eventually get there. So whether we sell it to another group, whether we develop it, I mean, I don't think I have a crystal ball that can, we can say, hey, this is what we're going to do today.
Right.
But I think we're going to keep working towards it. And I think by the end of this year, I think we'll be at we'll have had a substantial amount of exploration done. So I think we'll start to really unlock the value.
So now, if people are looking for extra information, can listeners or viewers of this discussion, can they reach out to you directly?
Yeah, I've always made myself accessible. I've always even put out my mobile number so they can reach me directly that way, send me an email.
Oh wow.
And one thing I haven't gotten going is still my Twitter account, but I
Oh,
eventually I'll get to it.
it's okay.
Yeah,
Twitter's one of those things too. I mean, you have to be committed. Instagram and YouTube, that's about it for me. But Twitter, that takes a bit of work for sure.
absolutely.
But it's like one of those necessary things that you like have to do to kind of get all the word out there. It's on my to do list as well. You're not
Yes,
alone. Um,
fantastic.
hey, listen, I really do appreciate you stopping in again. I'm going to put all the information for your company down below. Everybody, again, if you have any questions or looking for extra information, please feel free to reach out to Mr. Lee, CEO and Director of York Harbor Metals. And Andy, please don't be a stranger. Come back anytime.
Fantastic. It's always a pleasure coming on to your show.
I appreciate it, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks. Thanks so much.
Was really happy to have Andy Lee back on here. Great guy. I've spoken to him once before about different investment opportunities. And, there are a lot of people that are investing in these junior mining companies, whether it be uranium or copper, silver, gold, you name it. And they are seeing some decent returns. I myself invested a little bit of money not too long ago. I recently sold off my positions, but I did actually make some gains. And the reason I sold sold, I had mentioned this before, is that I was buying a significantly expensive truck. My old Jeep decided to crap out on me, so I needed to buy a brand new vehicle. And so I liquidated my cryptos, I liquidated my day-to-day stocks, and I actually did end up selling some gold. And that is one of the other beautiful things of owning this stuff, is because it is extremely liquid. You could sell this stuff at really any given moment. You bring it to a coin shop, we buy gold place, jeweler, you name it. You could even find people peer-to-peer who are willing to purchase the gold off of you. So it's very liquid. It's a great way to park your money. It's a safe asset, and it's just so darn beautiful to look at. Anyway, let me know in the comments down below, are you putting your money in safe havens like silver and gold, or are you more aggressive with your investments, and are you buying stocks or crypto or NFTs? Let me know in the comments down below. And I would like to quickly thank these elite channel supporters. And if you haven't already become a channel member, please check out the awesome perks and join today. With that, this is Empire Precious Metals. Until next time, long live the Empire.